already know that he has speed, he's got power. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has that.
Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference.
Too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boy. I'm not saying nothing from not taking nothing.
Canelo versus Crawford is being hailed as the biggest fight of the year, and Teddy Atlas has offered his honest breakdown. He believes Terence Crawford has the tools to win regardless of weight class, praising his skills, discipline, and adaptability. Atlas argues that Canelo Alvarez is no longer the fighter he once was, claiming the Mexican superstar has lost a hunger and fire that once made him great, pointing to Alvarez's recent performances as evidence of decline. Atlas even goes as far as to call him overrated compared to Crawford. In his view, Crawford's sharpness and relentless drive make him the clear favorite to win.
The urgency's not there. The fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. At least I'd say that. It wasn't there a week ago. Maybe it'll be there now. Maybe he's the kind of guy that, and I get it, that at this point in their career, it has to be a big fight to get up. That Canelo can't get up for these fights. He couldn't get up for that fight. All right. If you want to go down that road, go ahead. But my road is still possible. That he got old, that just doesn't have that fire no more. Oh my God, I'm going to say this one. That maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, I know he's tremendous. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? If you look at some of his biggest fights, the fights where you had to be great to win, that you fought great fighters or near great fighters, you can make the argument that he lost the first Triple G. He didn't embarrass himself, but he got a draw. Second one, you can make the argument he lost that. I know it was a different kind of fight, and he got better. But you can make that. You can make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You can make the argument he was too young in his career. Maybe. Although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16.
Mean Machine, a fighter who has shared the ring with Terence Crawford, strongly believes that size will not determine the outcome of Crawford's clash with Canelo Alvarez. He argues that Crawford's skill set is far superior, with intelligence inside the ring that makes him too smart for Canelo. In his view, the difference in weight and natural size cannot overcome the gap in ring IQ, adaptability, and timing that Crawford brings to every fight. Mean Machine insists that Crawford is one of the most calculated fighters of his generation, able to adjust mid-fight and dismantle opponents regardless of physical advantages. He describes Crawford as a master of pace, distance, and rhythm, elements that often matter more than sheer size. For him, this matchup clearly favors a fighter with sharper tools, and that fighter is Terence Crawford.
It's not good for Crawford. Canelo's too big. Right now, my position changed. I think Crawford is too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boy. I'm not saying nothing from not taking nothing from Canelo, but the way when you say oh, he's too big, when you see Usyk fights and what Usyk did to the big guys like Joshua and Fury, so the size doesn't matter. I think the skill level matters, and Crawford, he gained weight, but I think he's gonna be even faster, and his head works good in the ring. His boxing IQ is just on top. So I would say 50-50, but right now I'm kind of leaning more to Crawford.
And that's just because of what you saw Usyk do?
It's not I'm just giving an example, size doesn't matter in the boxing. When they say Canelo is big and he's fighting 175, 168, and Crawford just moving from 147, 154. So I'm just putting an example that size doesn't matter, and that the fighter makes the fight. I think it's just that I see that Crawford's training and that he's big too right now. So he gained weight, but not and lots of people gain weight that sloppy weight, I would say fat, but he looked like strong, massively strong. So I think it's gonna be a good one.
How did Terence feel physically when you faced him? Like, how is it like his strength? Because yeah, a lot of people do make the point that Canelo's just maybe too big, too powerful for Crawford.
Crawford, I wouldn't say like his punches was like super strong, but his timing and accuracy is what makes different.
Mean Machine draws a compelling comparison between the upcoming Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez showdown and Canelo's 2013 bout against Floyd Mayweather. Back then, Canelo was younger and less experienced, and Mayweather dominated him with superior speed, defense, and ring generalship. Mean Machine believes Crawford has the tools to replicate a similar strategy, using movement, precision, and smart counterpunching to frustrate Canelo and neutralize his biggest weapons. However, he points out a crucial difference. Today's Canelo is far more seasoned than he was in 2013. Over the years, he has faced and defeated elite opponents, learned to adapt, and developed a patience that was absent in the Mayweather fight.
And he throws like his calculation for the punches and like timing and aiming to the right spots is just like on another level.
Do you think that's going to be the thing that complicates the fight the most for Canelo?
I think so, yeah. And like we can go back a little bit to Mayweather Canelo, and Canelo was young and like Mayweather smart, but it can be like familiar fight like that. Even Canelo right now have more experience, and Crawford is still on his prime. So yeah, we'll see.
From just your experience, you knowing boxing, like how do you think the fight will play out? Do you think it'll be a slow fight? Do you think it'll be tactical? Like, do you think Crawford?
I think it's gonna start a little bit slowly. They're gonna be careful with each other just to kind of like measure each other and see where they at. And like they're like that's why like they're like champs and they're like great ones. They just don't go like crazy like from the.
Regis Progrise offers a contrasting perspective, dismissing the idea that Crawford's punches will trouble a granite-chin, naturally bigger fighter like Canelo Alvarez. He points out that Canelo has absorbed shots from some of the hardest hitters in boxing, fighters naturally larger than Crawford, and has proven nearly unshakable. Still, Progrise doesn't completely count Crawford out. While he questions the impact of Crawford's power, he acknowledges the Nebraska star's ability to win through skill, strategy, and determination. In his view, Crawford's world-class technique, versatility in switching stances, and flawless execution of game plans make him a dangerous opponent, even against someone as formidable as Canelo.
First off, I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You got to look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always the difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. His head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, DeLaura, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that, but I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee, So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever.
Jose Vargas Jr., who has sparred with Terence Crawford, echoes Regis Prograis' skepticism. Vargas openly admits he doesn't believe Crawford can hurt Canelo, having personally felt his punches in sparring. While he acknowledges Crawford's sharpness and precision, he argues that the power behind those shots isn't heavy-handed enough to seriously trouble someone with Canelo's size and durability. Vargas highlights that Alvarez has already faced and survived the power of much larger fighters, raising doubts about whether Crawford can generate the same kind of danger. That said, Vargas doesn't dismiss Crawford entirely. He recognizes that power isn't everything. Timing, accuracy, and consistency can eventually break down even the toughest opponents. Still, in his view, Crawford's punches may lack the weight needed to stop Canelo from applying relentless pressure.
Done in camp.
You know, all we're doing is putting the final touches. I mean, I've been sparring Ron Ellis. I mean, this guy is a dog, bro. He's been getting me ready. I mean, he's been Canelo's sparring partner. Shout out to my guy Ron, man. He comes, tries to knock me out every single sparring. This guy fights at 68. Big dude, goes southpaw, and hits hard. So I know he fought Benavidez. So you know, he's a veteran, and he's doing veteran tactics in there where he's not letting me rest in the clinch. He's making me work every second of every round. And I got something for Callum. I got something for the whole boxing world. And, you know, I feel you're just as good as your preparation. And we've been doing the road work. We've been doing the mountain work. I've been recovering hard. I've been getting my rest. You know, I haven't been drinking no dark sodas, bro. I'm feeling like Tyson Fury right now, bro. Like,
Mickey Bay takes a more controversial stance, accusing Canelo Alvarez of cherry-picking by accepting the fight with Terence Crawford. He argues that Alvarez has often been selected with opponents, waiting for the right timing or size advantage, and in this case, saw Crawford as a smaller fighter moving up in weight, making the matchup physically favorable for him. Critics in boxing circles have echoed this view, suggesting Alvarez is leveraging his size and strength against a naturally lighter man. Bay points out that this narrative has sparked backlash, with fans and analysts debating whether the fight is truly fair. Still, he acknowledges that Crawford is far too skilled to be written off. Even if Canelo enters as the bigger man, Crawford's intelligence and adaptability could turn the fight in his favor.
That size comparison type of a thing to make it seem like it's not a type of cherry pick that he has to go up into this battle.
No, he a lot bigger. See, people looking at height. Height don't got nothing to do with weight and where you've been fighting at. Like, Terence put his weight on, so it's a difference. No, Canelo's a lot bigger, like, hands down. Like, just mass, as far as mass, he naturally that thick. You know, he got to come down. Terence, just because your weight is up there, that don't mean that. That's like putting a dude, Benavidez, as a heavyweight. He might walk around at 205 or whatever. That don't mean he a heavyweight though. So Canelo is by far the bigger man. We didn't see him hit dudes 6'3", 6'2" in the arm and hurt him. Like, he didn't hurt Kovalev, light heavyweight. So I mean, didn't he have a light heavyweight title?
Well, when he fought Kovalev?
Just period at light heavyweight. Didn't Canelo win the light? Didn't?
Nah, he just Kovalev. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, he might have only fought there a couple times, but the fact that he fought up there though, and he fought way up at light heavyweight, but he been at super middleweight for a minute, so he the bigger guy for sure. So really, he got to hurt Crawford, or he got to get his major respect. He got to get his major respect to make Crawford feel like he got to survive. If he can't do that, then he probably ain't gonna win.
Do you feel like you was talking about Crawford? He needs to poke his way out of this fight, right? We've seen that. You know, Crawford's been lined up by lots of fighters. Not Errol Spence, of course, but other fighters that was able to line up with shots that don't necessarily hit like a Canelo. Now, Canelo gonna line you up regardless, right?
From a promoter's perspective, Tom Loeffler focuses not on fairness, but on the sheer spectacle of Canelo versus Crawford. He sees this showdown as one of the most marketable matchups in modern boxing, emphasizing that both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are among the sport's biggest stars, each with loyal global fan bases that stretch across cultures, nations, and demographics. Loeffler explains that fights of this magnitude transcend the ring, capturing mainstream attention and drawing casual viewers who might not otherwise watch boxing.